Hey Josh, now that you've had some time, what do you feel went wrong in the last game, and what can you guys do to make it better this week?
Well, first off, we just kind of focused on improving throughout the bye week, trying to get as healthy as we can, improve, not really necessarily focusing on the past, but moving forward to the future. And obviously, we just gotta get better in a lot of different areas fundamentally, everything. And so we've had really good practice last week, and it was good energy, and that's what you want to see out of your team in a bye week.
When your quarterback's struggling, and the offense in general, just to move the ball where you want to, you have a bye week like this. Is it a lot of meetings with the quarterback? Hey, this is what we want to do, or this is what you feel better doing, or how do you sort of go about fixing it?
Well, it's reestablishing confidence in your players, reestablishing confidence in everyone, coaches, system, everything. Just gives you guys an opportunity to kind of move forward. This is a time right now where, confidence is important. A lot of times, these kids or people are reading whatever they want to read, and you're going to become what you read. And so for us, we're not too focused on that. We're focused on trying to build a culture, trying to instill confidence in our players, to allow our players to go and be confident on the field.
Do you have you collaborate and just ask Tyler, for example, what are you comfortable with executing?
Yeah, I mean that's every game. We want to try to make sure that our guys have a great grasp on what we're doing, how to do it, and most importantly, the fundamentals to execute those type plays. And we get great feedback from our players. We obviously keep them very involved, and we try to do what they do best. And that's an important piece to any team, is try to put your players in position to be successful.
Josh, what did you see from Tyler in the past, week and a half? Position he hasn't really been in the past year. How did you see him interact, just emotionally and mentally?
Well, I don't know what he's been through, but Tyler, he just seemed like Tyler. He had a really good week last week, and really kind of bouncing back. And Tyler's, he's a great kid, man. Just tremendously, just a great leader, great person on his team, and players respect him. So, I don't think there's any cloud that's hanging over top of him at all. It's time for us to move forward as a team and as a program, and we're not too much hung up on the past. We're looking forward to the opportunity that we have to start ACC play this week.
When Jake Garcia came in, he started taking some shots down the field. Was it a different game plan at all from what Tyler was doing, or was maybe Tyler not taking as many shots and Jake was just being more aggressive?
No, it's sometimes games go that way. Flows and rhythm of games, and so obviously Jake did a really good job coming in, executing, and it's one that we look back on it. We just didn't capitalize on things early in the game, but we've got the utmost confidence in Tyler. He's our quarterback, and just like as Jake came in, we got the utmost confidence in him, and Jake has done a great job preparing, and he was able to go in and have some success.
Just the physicality up front against Middle Tennessee just didn't look like where it was in the previous 3 games. How do you feel that the O-line has been bouncing back since then?
Well, we really stress the importance, right? Trying to recreate, and our identity is what we got to go out and reestablish. We can't just talk about identity anymore. We've got to go out there and reestablish it, and that starts with everybody. That starts with all the 11 people. That starts with myself. That starts with the kids being committed to a vision and understanding that vision of who we want to be as a team and on offense. And so, we weren't pleased in certain areas of the game. Obviously, a lot of different areas, and we're not going to sit there and point out one particular thing, because we didn't do enough things well, the last time we played. And so we've got to get better overall. We've got to get healthy. We've got to get better. And I think that's been probably our biggest challenge, is just staying consistent, staying healthy, staying consistent, and having guys out there, taking those reps in games.
What did Middle Tennessee do to your offense to create so much success for their defense early in that game?
It's not necessarily about what a certain team did to us. It's about just the lack of execution on our part. We got a little rattled early on. The game got rattled in itself, and obviously you never put your team in position in a good mental state when you have 3 turnovers within the first 6 or 7 offensive plays, and 2 of those turnovers were just plays. And so. We've got to be able to respond back from adversity, and then that's overall as a team, right? You can't get caught up in the ups and downs of games. There's going to be positive momentum swings. There's going to be negative momentum swings. You got to be able to withstand the positives, and you got to bounce back from the negatives. And unfortunately, we didn't bounce back. It really kind of took the air out of the team, and that's something we can't do.
How do you guys prevent, as a coaching staff, just prevent that from happening? When North Carolina's a team that can score a lot, if they go up, early, how do you keep the team from getting rattled and getting kind of the air taken out of them?
Well, the biggest thing we got to continue to just coach and develop is culture. You got to develop culture, and you got to eliminate any bad or old culture. It's not a here we go again type moment. You've got to be able to have your players instill confidence that hey, we are going to push through. We're going to overcome these tough, adverse situations. You can't ever fall back to a moment where you say, well, man, this is the same thing. It's not. And that's why culture is something that we've got to continue to build every day, every aspect of our program. And so. I think we've learned that the hard way. I think our kids understand the importance of that, and we look forward to moving on.
Coach, your offense this season has been split pretty evenly between running plays out of condensed formations and non-condensed formations. How would you assess so far your offense's performance in these more condensed looks?
So this condensed formation, condensed formations, I think require a look at what the situation is, right? We've been facing a lot of short yardage scenarios, right? So condensed formations allow you to get enough people into the box to protect double edges, right? And I think oftentimes, you get caught up in saying, well, it's condensed. I don't know what a condensed formation is. We have some condensed formations, but we don't live primarily in those. But I think they're very particular to situational football, whether it's short yardage situations, goal line situations. Those are type situations where we do condense our formation down just a little bit to be able to protect both edges.
Josh, you have several running backs banged up. Maybe they'll play, maybe not. But how do you compensate for that?
Well, it's not anything that we haven't gone through all year long. We've been battling this challenge, since the spring, and that's specifically just on offense. And so we got to overcome adversity. We can't hang our hats on it. There's been times this year I probably let it emotionally get me, but you know what? We just got to keep preparing the next man. We've got to have the next man ready. We've got the utmost confidence in everyone from a preparation standpoint. And even the guys that we don't quite feel as confident, we got to help bring them along. That's coaching. We got to develop those players, those backup players to be ready in any type of situation. And so that's a big job for us as coaches. And then also that's a big job for the players preparing themselves because we don't have as much depth as we would like, but we've got to have everyone ready for their opportunity when it comes.
On that, but then if Thad has to be the guy like he was in the fourth quarter last game, where is he at just in terms of being the guy who can be on the field for the majority of, or the plurality of snaps at running back?
Well, just specifically not just running back, but all of our guys have got to prepare that as if they're going to have to be the guy. When you look at our depth across the board, whether it's receiver, tight end, running back, we don't have as much depth offensive line, and so I think it's important that the importance of understanding what every rep means. Every rep in practice, every rep in games, every opportunity in the film room. Each one of our players have to prepare themselves as if they're going to be that guy, and so we got to do a great job making sure that we're teaching and developing our players, as coaches, and then two, the next part is our players got to do a great job of preparing and executing themselves as players, and so we've got to collectively come together and continue to bring our roster together from the bottom up.
Got time for a few more for Coach Gattis.
How has Jake Garcia maybe responded, since the last game? I know Coach told us Tyler would be starting, but just his attitude.
But Jake's attitude hadn't changed since I've gotten here. He's just a phenomenal kid to coach. Man, he just has so much fun playing the game of football. And I don't think Jake is reflected on last game at any point. I don't think he's, Jake is a true professional in what he does. He shows up every day preparing as if he's a starting quarterback. And, if anything ever happened, obviously we've got tremendous confidence and faith in him. And so I've never seen him change, whether it's been success or failure. He's been the same even keel type person that plays with tremendous energy and passion. Our players really respond to him and they like him. But he's been the same Jake, and it's not just a result of last game, but he's been the same since I've been here.
Josh, with the conference part of the schedule coming up, are you having to make adjustments now in terms of tightening your playbook and finding different ways because of the injuries and stuff to maybe do some things?
Well, with conference play, right, the stakes grow a little bit higher, and we've got to understand, and we've got to up our level. You can't just have certain games where you play up to your opponent or play down to your opponent. You've got to stay consistent in what you do, in the approach that you take, and then obviously with injuries, there's going to come different things, that adjust, what you do and how well you do it. But ultimately, we've got to come together. We've got to find out what our players can do best. We've got to do that, and we've got to do that not just Monday through Friday, but that's got to show up on Saturdays. And I think that's a very key important piece in the development phase, and just making sure that we're able to go out there and execute things the way they should be on Saturday. And that's on us as coaches. We got to do a great job of developing these guys and instilling the confidence and allowing those guys to go out there and play confidently.
Last question for Coach Gattis.
Have you considered coming down to the field and coming out the booth and coming down to the field on game day?
I think during bye week you always do an assessment of different type things or how can you help impact your team if you see them obviously in a struggling situation or any adverse situation. And there's different things that we've discussed, different things that I've obviously thought about, but right now it's about just maximizing every opportunity we can get in practice. Really being passionate, really being positive, creating good positive energy because these kids feed off that. They're 18 to 21. We deal with kids in the emotional stage, so as positive as we can be, the positive they will be. And so, we haven't had the success, obviously, the last 2 weeks that we've wanted, but we're going to be positive. We're going to be upbeat about it. We're going to continue to move forward. We're not going to let a cloud just hang over top of our program. We still got a long season left. We look forward to getting into conference play.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much.